Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included Maximum. Oh my god, started off incorrect already. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Survival Chances Slim, our maximum difficulty Oxygen Not Included Let's Play. Oh boy, what a past couple weeks it's been. My girlfriend was feeling pretty stressed, so I spent a lot of time just kind of hanging out with her, and that's why I haven't really produced a lot of content in the past couple weeks. And then her parents came over, visiting from across the country, and so we've been hanging out with them. And then my family is coming over pretty soon, so just been pretty hectic over here. So I haven't really released any content or done any streams or done anything of the sort, just because I really haven't had the time. But I have about an hour today, so we're going to try and do a little something. When we last left off, we have our cooling system up and going. We're trying to get our plastics operation up and going. That way we can ultimately slap a steam turbine on top of here, and that will allow us to keep our cooling solution going. But we're also running into some fairly serious power problems because there's a pretty long distance to go and fetch the coal, which we are shoveling into our coal generators. We don't quite have our ranches up to the level that would be able to support us power-wise on all that. So we're just having trouble keeping everything running in terms of power. We're doing okay on food. There are a few more mealwood plants that are offline than I would like to see, given that we have 51 duplicates and we need 10 mealwood plants active per duplicate. We're not quite there right at the moment. I went over and counted. So I'd like to fix that up a little bit. And I think also just getting the power systems up and going again would help with our oxygen situation, because we aren't pumping a lot of oxygen into the base right now, simply because we don't have the power to run the pumps. So we'd like to solve our power problems, and I think that's what we're going to try and accomplish today. We're going to try and accomplish a little bit more power in our system, and we're going to try and finish up this plastics operation, which will also help with our power, because then we'll actually start drawing an extra 800 watts or so just from this steam up here. Not that much in the grand scheme of things, just a little bit more than a coal generator, but a decent amount. You know, it helps. And every coal generator we can kind of replace with not having a coal generator there is going to be pretty nice for us. So let's go ahead and get to that. We don't quite have enough ice to run things, to do another sort of cool off. I kind of want to put it on these arbor trees, which will also help with our power. Basically, if we can get more domesticated arbor trees, and we're going to need to expand out to do that, but if we can get more domesticated arbor trees, we can get our ethanol production up, which gets these petroleum generators up, and it costs us a little bit of polluted water on the net to do that, but it generates a decent amount of power for us. Let me, before I continue, check to make sure I have these priorities kind of where I want them. That's priority 8. This is priority 7. This is priority 8. Sure. 8, 8, 8. These are all 6. This line is lower priority right now. This is a CO2 line that we're going to run from over here, which is kind of all just full at the moment. Yeah, but it's fine. Doing fine on that front. And then these ranches over here are priority 7 and 6. Okay. And we have 3 critters, 2 critters, 3 critters, 2 critters. Okay, we're doing fine in this area as well. Okay, start things back up. So we'd like a little bit more power to keep all of our systems going, because that's really what is kind of slowing us down a lot of these issues. We aren't running any of these carbon skimmers very often, which is a big help. That's going to make sure that we don't run too much power. So we kind of, by having these petroleum generators offline, we're also saving power in a way, right? Not running these things helps in a sense. On the net it doesn't, but you know, we're not running a lot of those other things. So I think to solve a lot of our power issues, one of the things I'm going to want to do is I want to first sort of extend out the, we'll say this out of granite. We want to extend out this stairwell sort of thing that we have down here, that ultimately we want this to kind of stretch all the way up. We're going to have to reorient some of this stuff, rebuild a lot of this stuff later to kind of fit to a big plan that I have for it. But I would like to start working on these areas and try and get a little bit better flow of people going through these areas. If we can do that, then I'm going to feel a lot better about how quickly it takes our duplicates to move from one area to the other. So let's go ahead and clear out. Let's not clear out this, I suppose. Let's clear out just across here, I guess. And I guess it also just clears out here. That's fine. So we're going to try and clear out an area here, and then we're going to put a little hydrogen scoop at the top here, and then we can try and link these areas over here. And ultimately what we're going to try and do is encompass this large area that we have right here all into our base. So we'll have like a central stairwell here, probably a central stairwell somewhere around like here, you know, a decent distance away. And then another one we'll just put right here where this stairwell is already going up. And then we can later on have like another one way over here. But basically have kind of 4 central thoroughfares for our duplicants to travel. And that will be how we get around the base. And then we'll upgrade that as we get more plastic to some transit tubes, which will really help with a lot of those issues. And basically just being able to get people from far-flung areas like this from the center of our base faster is going to be a priority going forward, because that's going to be able to get us just a lot more labor done. We have like the oxygen situation sorted out for all this area, right? We are able to use our polluted dirt, which is going to be our long-term oxygen solution. We're able to use that as effectively a way of transporting oxygen from one area to another, or just having sort of independent from our power grid ways of setting up oxygen. But we are going to want faster transit through here. It's not an issue that they're running out of breath on the way. It's just that it takes them so long to get over there. We want to work on that a little bit more. But this will be a little bit later. Damage overheated. Okay. This liquid pump I actually don't care about. Yeah, I'm fine having this liquid pump not function. This is actually just set up here temporarily so that it can... what we are very concerned about is the liquid pump down here. This pump, definitely, if this breaks, we are in some major problems, because this is the supply of our water, basically, for all of our electrolysis and pretty much everything that we're doing. And it is under 75 right now. This should be fine. But this whole area is heating up due to the issues with this heat being generated here, and the heat being generated here, or the heat being kind of just produced here from the saltwater geyser. So we're going to have some issues there. Is this not functioning? Is it a matter of power? Power seems okay. No, okay. It's just that it's kind of strange that oh, I see. So it looked like the saltwater packets were not full, right, because they were smaller, but the issue is that we just basically have half of them transferring over to this desalinator, because the desalinator doesn't take in 10 kilograms per second, it takes in 5 kilograms per second, so they look like 5 kilogram per second packets, but they weren't. That's fine. And is anyone actually starving? I don't think anyone's actually going to be starving. They all should have access to food, basically. Yeah, they're fine. Okay. Let's just continue on. Yeah, I want to get my plastics up and going. I want to get the steam turbine up and going. We'll have to divert a little bit of our cooling over to that steam turbine. This is, again, this. Okay, so this is just kind of toggling on and off. That's fine. I don't care about that. We sealed that area off. We don't really concern ourselves too much with it. But we want to get this finished up. We want to get this sort of heat shield finished up. We want to get this hydrogen scoop finished up so we can start pumping in plastic. I think we're also ready to say priority 8 on anything up here, because that's going to be important. And then we'll say priority 8 on this, because I think the temperatures are just, maybe not quite. Let's say priority 7 on this higher stuff right here, and priority 8 on this lower stuff. That way we don't have as many scalds as we work in that area. Okay. So, how is our cooling going? This is getting there. 30.8. Yeah, we have a little bit of roughness over here because we kind of lose our conductivity. We're also getting hotter water coming in through here occasionally, which is a little bit problematic. But overall, not bad. Doing okay on food. We need probably to spend our next thing of ice down here again. I'm not exactly sure why these areas are a little bit hotter than they should be, right? Because we have all this cold water here, which should be providing cooling more so than this area is heating things up. Not quite sure. Should be okay, though. Okay. I really want to get this plastic operation up and going, though. And to do that, we need our power, which we're going to get from the hydrogen scoops. And then we're going to need just the finishing touches on all those pumps and everything. Yeah, so I think the next thing we do is we take our ice, utilities, temp shift plate. Now that we have enough ice, we're going to slap down some cooling right here. Priority 9 on this. We're going to try and get these trees back online, and then we'll rehook up the irrigation, which will be really simple. And then we'll try and basically get more lumber going through these ethanol distillers to get more petroleum generators online, to get more power, and all that good stuff. It'll also get our polluted dirt production back online, which is our long-term solution for oxygen. So there's a lot of benefits here to ultimately getting our trees back online. We'll just need to expand out this area a lot to accommodate for more trees, but that won't be too hard. So these areas are flowing. This area not that much. It's just because we have the flow throttled, we don't see them fully moving. Okay. Let me check on the stream. Making any progress over here? What's going on, you guys? What are you guys working on? We made any progress over here? No? Okay. Yeah, there's not a lot of free labor going about is another issue. I like that our Drecos are back in our base. That helps us out a decent amount. Let me check on the stream, make sure I don't have, my microphone not working or something like that. Get chat up. Greetings from America, Alexandra Louise. I'm a little bit frazzled today because I kind of just finished a lot of stuff, and if I seem a little scatterbrained and can't pronounce things, that's the reason why. But yeah, I basically have an hour to stream, and then it's back to hanging out with my girlfriend's parents. Fun times, fun times. Okay. Plastic. This area is cooling down, but slowly. What temperature is this coming in at? 23 degrees. Okay, I mean, we're getting this area cooler. These plants should start coming back online. All this stuff is under 30 degrees. We've cooled down all of this granite tile to under 30 degrees, so there shouldn't be any more heat radiating to that. I guess there's a little bit of heat conduction going through here, which we could deal with, I suppose. We could just say base, insulated tile, igneous rock. Get a little bit more of that going. Something along those lines. A lot of it is that we need to fetch coal to power all the system. And that takes a long, long walk to get to. It's probably actually where a lot of our labor is going, is to the coal. Still need that coal, though. We want to basically give dig out orders for all of that stuff, if possible. And I kind of just want to give out a dig order over here as well. Cancel any uproot orders because that doesn't matter. Any coal we can get our hands on is going to be helpful, just to keep our power system up and going. And I think we want to say priority 6 on this digging. Down here. Something like that. I'll also say priority 6 on this because it'll help them get to that area a little bit better. Something along those lines. Finishing up this. I really needed this hydrogen scoop, and then we need to work on our other hydrogen scoop before we kind of run completely out of coal. So let's set up that. Ventilation, gas pump. This gas pump we can just set up right up over here. I think we want to make this out of aluminum ore because that's what's closest. And we need to hook this up ideally right to here. So we could actually just have this go down. We could have the power system for this go up, just move our hydrogen scoop effectively. I think I'd like that solution. Yeah, let's just stick this here. Yeah, let's stick this here, and we'll say gas pipe, igneous rock. This can go down here. Gas bridge, igneous rock. Bridge over to here, gas pipe, igneous rock. Just like so. And then power-wise, we are going to just run the wire that we have right here up over here. We're going to start getting rid of all the hydrogen in this area as we sort of prepare it to be an extra base area. We're going to try and move a lot of our beds and stuff and get into a more permanent solution up here, I think, is part of the plan. Let's set all this to priority 7, this building. Temperatures up here are fine. We just basically need to keep them under 75 degrees. Yeah, and then that will help with our power problems and issue a lot, because we'll get these hydrogen generators going and we'll be able to get a lot more power that way as opposed to using coal. Because we are starting to run out of coal, and once we run out of power, all of our systems come offline and then we die, so not ideal. Okay. Finish up this ice temp shift plate. This might not be enough for these arbor trees. We're probably going to need a little bit more of these ice makers running to get this done, is my thought. What do we get to? It's enough for some of these, but not quite. Yeah. We need a little bit more ice to get these trees back online. We left them to their own devices for too long, and now there's mild issues. I also kind of want to just spend a little bit of ice down here, but also completing this construction line, the CO2 line, ought to cool down these areas a decent amount. It's kind of hard to say, because they're also going to have igneous rock put there, which is going to be probably a little bit hotter than 30 degrees. So it might actually heat things up temporarily until we get the CO2 flowing. Alright. Not bad though. When do these things come back online? Again, this is all the way down to 26 degrees now, but these farm tiles are not quite cooled off. I guess this one is because it's close to this radiant pipe. These are not quite cooled off. It's just these farm tiles. It's at 31 degrees, which is relatively high. I mean, it's not on the cusp of 30 quite. I do want to get these farms online. I don't want to have food problems like I did last time. I ignored food for too much and caused issues for ourselves. Don't really want that to happen again. I don't really want to do a whole lot more work on our cooling system, though, because it's pretty effective. It's just that it's not quite going fast enough for us. It's really the only issue. And getting our power system going is going to be probably more important for keeping that cooling system going. And getting our plastic up and going, because once this reaches around 200 degrees is where we ideally like to have the steam turbine ready to build. Speaking of area for the steam turbine, we want to dig out this at some point. Okay, so plastics operation almost ready to go. Need to finish up this wire, finish up this gas pump. We set up some temp shift plates. These areas are cooler. It starts getting hot again up here. So we need to finish up this. Let's move this priority down to 6 and really focus on this. Getting the power system for that up and going, I think, is more important. And then later on, we can just sort of cannibalize those systems to be the backbone of something else. Right, like those long power lines will be useful in the long run. I don't think we'll have to deconstruct all of them. I could, I don't really want to do that. We could start draining CO2 from these systems to feed to these slicksters. So all these slicksters are, well, they shouldn't be glum. They should be hungry to some extent, but glum is not what we're looking for. Hungry, some of them are hungry. We also want to transport these larva eggs over to these areas. That way we can start getting our slicksters there before they hatch, because this is already at 59%. And we just don't have a lot of free labor to throw about. A lot of it is spent on farming. A lot of it is spent on fetching coal for the coal generators. Not ideal. We also need to start working on setting up metal refining in a more serious way, because we did enough to get the steel, and we don't really have enough eggshell to, like, we have 40 kilograms of lime, and we have a little bit of eggshell here, 22 kilograms, so we're not really set up for lime. We need to dig out a lot more fossil if we're gonna work with that. But we'd like to get more steel as well to set up more thermal aquatuners, to set up more cooling. I think ultimately we're going to take this area right here and turn it into sort of an industrial area and set up a lot of our cooling and metal refining and steam turbines and whatnot over there. But I want to do a metal refinery hooked up with a steam turbine, right? So it's dumping all of its heat into steam that will then get us some power, because they can be a power positive system on the net. Whoa, where are you going, buddy? What are you fetching? You are running up to here to grab this sandstone. Okay. You're going to suffer a little bit of burns up here, aren't you? Yeah, probably. Alright, whatever. That's not really what we meant when we wanted to use this as a sandstone. Did you burn and not pick up your recovering breath? Wow, you just came up there to burn a little bit. Okay. Okay, Nicola. That's... Wow, okay. I should have paid attention to his breath. Well, he suffers light wounds for no reason because he runs out of breath before, right as he's picking up the stuff, which is just perfect. Yeah, I really want to finish up the rest of this. Priority 9, this stuff. I want to start getting power up to this. I want to start getting our plastics. I don't want our cooling system to go offline. Get all this to 9 right now. Drop what you're doing, get this done. We also need to get our food situation sorted. So I kind of want to spend a little bit more ice on cooling, which is also going to take a lot of labor. I kind of expected these areas to cool down faster, but they aren't. 30.2, 31.2, because these farm tiles got a little bit toasty. And it's just taking a long time for the cooling to reach them. It's kind of radiating out more from here than from here. Not ideal. What temperature are we sending out our coolant? 12.5, 12.4. Coming in at 26. Sure. Makes sense to me. It's going to take us a little while to get this below that. Reaches here, mixes with a little bit from this, so it goes up a little bit. Here we don't have flow anymore, so it's just kind of reaching equilibrium. But here we have some more going through here. So we've gotten pretty much this entire bathroom system nice and cool. That's fine. We've created kind of cooling over here. We still have most of our industrial area fairly hot, but I don't really... As long as this remains under 75, or under 72, I should say, I think we're fine. They're just barely offline. And then these are just problematic for no reason. I was hoping also that this water would sort of absorb heat from over here and get to there. But it hasn't been doing that either. And then these areas are just going to be problematic because we have them so close to the Slickster ranches. There's not really a great answer to that. But we just have a few too many farms offline. I just want to get like 20 of them online. What are these shut off for? This area is kind of wedged between two cool areas, but hasn't cooled down yet either. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we needed to spend a little bit more ice before we focus on the trees. Just spend a little bit more ice getting the other stuff cool, because we're dipping down in terms of food, and we don't really have emergency supplies of food anymore. We've burned through all those in previous instances. Although, now that I speak about it, get rid of this, please. Don't need any long hair slicksters. They are pure food. Okay, well, hopefully this cools down fast enough. What do we get from our blueprints? Fried mushrooms, I think we're going to take. Other options are copper ore, which I don't need. Lyra and Wren. Do we need a Lyra and a Wren? Vitals, sort by name. We only have one Lyra, and we have only one Wren, so both of them are options. I think we're going to go with food, though. I'm still worried about food. We're stopping at 70, partly for lag reasons, partly because that means we have 2 of every single duplicate, so it's kind of a nice round number to stop at. But I think we're going to take fried mushroom here. It'll cause some stress issues that they're not getting a new friend in the colony, but extra food is important at this point. Just until we can get that cooling online. Once we have these areas, because they're just slowly cooling down, right? There's no more heat getting to these areas. They're slowly cooling down because they're wedged between cold areas, right? Like this one over here. We just bridge ourselves a little bit more, get a little bit more time. Yeah, it was gone for a long time, and this is also going to be a short stream. Basically, my girlfriend just got pretty stressed out, and so I spent a lot of time hanging out with her. And then her parents visited, and then my family's visiting. So we've kind of been entertaining guests as well. I think part of the reason she got stressed out was knowing that her parents were coming, and she doesn't quite get along with them all that well. Yeah, they're fine people. It's just, you know, clash of personalities, I think. Starvation, I'm not worried about that. Let's take Nicola and toss him in a bed, though. I want to do that. Unless Nicola was the guy. Never mind. Nicola, keep fighting the thing. I want the meat. And then we'll toss you in the bed. How's that? I want the meat first. And how are we coming along on this stuff? Are we getting there? These temp shift plates will help a lot in keeping these areas under 72 degrees. Because they're going to have a pretty good amount of thermal mass to them. Okay, we killed off the guy down here, right? Now he's meat. Perfect. And now we are ready to say that Nicola should go and get healed up. That'll improve his athletics, because he won't have light wounds anymore, so he'll move around faster. And we're putting a lot of the finishing touches on our plastic. Okay. Starvation. And no one should be starving. There's plenty of food. I mean, there's not plenty of food, but there is food. There is a non-zero amount of food. What is... So this building broke. That's fine. We don't care about that. This building is still going. Temperature-wise, we are getting to 75 degrees. Yeah, we might not have access to this water source for much longer. The thing is, as we pump out water, we aren't really helping the situation either. So it's not like speed pumping a lot of it out is going to save us in that regard. Right? If I put up a little liquid reservoir, the speed at which we're pumping out is also increasing the speed with which this new hotter salt water kind of gets into this area and overheats this. So we're going to run out of our water supplies fairly soon, and we're going to need to have new ones set up somewhere in order to function. Which is going to require steel, which is going to require our metal refineries, which is going to require first us sorting out our power issues, which is also going to help, you know, need to be sorted out with our plastic. There's a lot of things we need done here. This area is probably going to be able to absorb a decent amount of heat. We just need 200 kilograms to set up our steam turbine, and then we'll be good to go. I also could think about setting up some ceramic production, like right here. Kind of get these slickster larvas a little bit more heated up. That way they are more likely to produce extra slickster larvas as opposed to anything else. You guys aren't actually starving, are you? 891 and 986. No. Okay, you guys are fine. Are we getting much hydrogen out of this hydrogen scoop? Not a whole lot. Some. The air pressure up here is not very high. Let's go ahead and bump this down to an 8. And also this one, if this one's at an... put this one at a 7. Because this is already, these systems are full. There's no... Right, I'd just be pumping CO2 up to here, which we don't really care about. Okay. How are we doing over here? There's oxygen. Once we get the hydrogen scoop going as well, we'll actually kind of be in a little bit better situation in terms of maintaining oxygen in these areas. We just need enough power to run 200 kilograms of plastic. And later on we can turn this area back on once we get this oil reservoir up and going. But until then, and also maybe one thing we want to do before we do this is release this oil. This is another 400 kilograms of oil, because how much oil do I have down here? We have about, this is grams, not kilograms. Okay, so we have about 3 tons right here. 3 tons is going to turn into 1.5 tons of oil or petroleum, which is then going to go to a polymer press. The polymer press takes in 833 grams per second of petroleum, puts out 500 grams per second of plastic. So we should have, with just 3 tons, more than enough to get just basically 200 kilograms of plastic just for a steam turbine. And then we can run this a little bit later to get a little bit more plastic. Yeah, I think there's enough here. We have an extra 400 kilograms right here. And then this is all just going to be grams in small quantities. I guess there's also, so this is an extra ton of water trapped in here. Let's give an order to dig out here and here. And we'll say priority 8 on these. Just to release, well, actually, if we're going to dig out there, I guess we want to dig out right here. Yeah. Just to release a little bit more oil. And we can also tap this. So dig this out, priority 8. Just to have a little bit more oil down here to work with. All these temperatures are fine. We can work with those. Okay, looking good. Yeah, we're finishing up this heat shield. We've got the temperatures below 72 for all this work area, I think. Yeah, so they're going to be fine on that. They're not going to scald themselves as they work on that. And then we should also just go ahead and say priority 7 on this, just to dig out the area for our steam turbine. Okay. So plastics operation almost all ready to go. I do need to reverse this right here, right? So this gas pump needs to be deconstructed. Priority 9. I guess we could just disable it, but that isn't actually going to... I'm never going to use this again, I don't think. Yeah, so then it comes over to here. We have it going the opposite way now, though. Yeah, we don't quite have it where we want it to be. So we also want to deconstruct, I think, this. Priority 9. And deconstruct this gas bridge, priority 9, and this gas bridge, priority 9. So we're going to get rid of these and we're going to reconnect right here. We're going to say ventilation, gas pipe, igneous rock. Have this go down right here. Priority 9, and then we're going to say ventilation, gas bridge, igneous rock. We're going to re-establish our bridges to this area right here and then ultimately right here. Let's priority 9 this as well. Priority 9. Okay, so yeah, we're basically, we had our filter set up so that this pump was siphoning off the hydrogen, but then we kind of produced a little bit too much oxygen in this area for this to really be that effective. We ultimately wanted, we did have this whole line built right here to vent out the oxygen here. That way we could reach the gravitas center a little bit easier, but then temperatures got a little bit too high, so we kind of abandoned that plan. And now we're reversing things. So we put the scoop, we put the pump up here, and the pump is going to pump down to here, and then we're going to have it, so instead of the flow going where the oxygen is this way and the feedstock is coming in from here, we're going to have the feedstock coming in from here and the oxygen or whatever else. We really don't even need a mechanical filter at this point, but we're going to have it basically reversed. So we're just changing up these connections a little bit to accommodate that. Pretty easy. Finishing up conductive wire, which they're making out of lead. This is almost all done. Looking good. This is dug out, so now this oil will flow down to here. This is awaiting copper ore. Do I have copper ore nearby here? I could always dig out some more. It should not be too much of a problem. No, I have copper ore sitting, I guess, from deconstructing that. I also have a bunch sitting up here. Okay, I don't care about that then. I want to make sure they have the resources to build close by. That way they aren't spending a lot of time. Right? If I have like copper ore just sitting around, I'd rather them just dig out the copper ore and use that than spend a long time delivering it from somewhere else. So we finish up this conductive wire. Finish up this. We're almost there. How are we doing power-wise? So this is getting to 200 degrees. It's getting close. This has dropped from 12.5 to 11, except when the power shuts off on this, which happens occasionally, because we are pretty much out of coal. Yeah. We are pretty much out of coal, aren't we? Any easy to get coal anywhere nearby? The answer is probably no. And we have how many cycles? 19 cycles until our natural gas comes back. Yeah, I kind of just want to give, in order to dig out a lot of this coal over here and replenish our supplies that way. They're still going to have to walk a long distance to get there. It also opens up some algae, I guess, which could be helpful. Though we're not really that bad on oxygen at the moment. Yeah, this is fine. I can live with this. We have actually a full pipe already going in through here, so I can live with that as well. I want more coal. I want more power. We really need to ultimately set up an oil cracker, right? Where we crack the oil into natural gas, basically have like a methane distillery, and we'll get a lot more water and a lot more power out of that. But it's going to be a ways away. We want steam power right now, I think, before we go to a natural gas cooker. Okay. Well, where are our diggers is a good question. Let's go ahead and say priority 7 on all of this now. Something like that. I just want them going through digging out this coal, and also priority 7 on this, because we have people dedicated to digging who will get a lot of this work done for us. And then priority 7 on all of this as well, I think. And of course, any coal that's just sitting around here, let's go ahead and get. Priority 7 this. Yeah, anything to top up our power supplies is going to be nice. We have other coal areas we could reach, I think. But they're also going to be kind of a long distance away. We really want to get our hatch ranches expanded out. Storing 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, 2 out of 3. Okay, our ranchers have some work to do as well. That's fine. Because these are shutting off due to power issues. Yeah, no power, which is why sometimes a packet comes through here at 25 degrees rather than 11 degrees. Getting the hydrogen scoop up and going will also help with that. But coal is the more immediate solution. Abyssite bug, not fixed as far as I can tell. Yeah, still pretty high temperatures up in here. Usually, I mean, what it was in the past was they just changed natural abyssite to be an insulated material. They have sort of a hidden insulated quality. Like if we look at the insulated tile, right? Properties is insulated. Basically what that means is that instead of taking the logarithmic average of the conductivity of whatever tile it's conducting with, and it only looks at its conductivity. So when your conductivity is 0.029 and the tile you're interacting with is 0.168, right? Taking your value as the value is a lot more significant than when compared to the logarithmic average, right? So that's, I think, the issue with the abyssite is that it lost that hidden insulated property. And so it's possible they want it to be that way is a thing, right? They could say that's the way we want the game to be, which is a little bit different than what we kind of expected, but would be, I mean, could be like a fair thing to do. Gas vent, copper ore. So it's possible they don't consider it a bug. It's possible this is actually something they want to have in the game. And in any case, we can just soldier on. It's not the biggest deal in the world. This needs to be priority 9. And we're finishing up our power right here. So once we get this vent complete, this system will be filtering out hydrogen from here. If there's anything other than hydrogen up here, that's not really going to be that big of an issue. But anything that isn't hydrogen is just going to be dumped out of this gas vent. We need to kind of clear the line because we didn't build the gas vent up here. And so we have a little bit of oxygen sort of trapped in here. We'll just pump it back into here, no problem. And then as we start pumping out the hydrogen from here, all this oxygen will start rising up to here, and we'll be fine on that front as well. So we have a good way to go on that. How, roughly speaking, far away are we? 46 tiles. I'm also considering just sort of tiling some of this area to get the extra run speed. Because having them run through like this sort of valley is not really that great. That takes some time as well. We want them to be able to work in this area a lot more efficiently. You are grabbing copper, it looks like. Sure. That's going to take us a while, though. Yeah, and we also need to get some more of these farms online. This area might be actually the quickest way to get a lot of them online. 34 degrees. Maybe. This is still fresh. Sure. Okay. So we can't quite spend our next loads of ice on getting our trees back online. So we're still going to have to kind of work with what we got, because I think we need our food situation sorted before that. So now we have our hydrogen pumping down from here, which should get these powered. Once the power is on for these, no power connected, huh? Oh, we need to finish up conductive wire over here. That's incorrect. Conductive wire, lead, we're just going to run it across here. And priority 9 on all of this. And we want to auto bottle some water and put it down here. So water, and we're going to say enable auto bottle priority 8. And we want to just get a little bit of water in this area right here. Is this pumping? No power because this is dead, but then this will fill up. And this is disabled by automation grid. Low threshold 10, so it's at 10% right now, or it's a little bit above 10%. But why do I not have power? Oh, I do not have any wire coming down here. Okay. Power, conductive wire, lead. Yeah, we just want this all the way down here. We forgot to hook these up. So priority 9 on this, and that should get our system going. And then we'll start producing some plastic. That plastic will let us put the steam turbine right up here. And then we'll divert a little bit of our cooling from this line to cool down, keep the steam turbine cool. Yeah, this is almost at 200 degrees now, so we need to get that sorted out. And then getting this hydrogen scoop up over here should help us a lot with our power situation. At least for the time being, until we can dig out more coal and do stuff like that. And get our hatch ranches up and going so that they get more coal being produced from igneous rock and sand and stuff like that. Yeah, power is going to be one of the next big hurdles. We need to keep an eye on food, but power is going to be a big one. Okay, so these are almost all settled now. These, ooh, what happened here? What happened here? Why are these offline now? Because you're sandwiched between two cold areas, right? This is all 23, 25. This is 22. This is 22. How are you getting heated up? I mean, maybe we just slapped some ice down here. Get these cool, mop it up. Deal with the rest later. We can't have this many farms offline. But this cooling line should be keeping all this area cold. I think part of the issue is that we're delivering dirt to these areas now that is hotter, because we're kind of going out to other areas to pick up the dirt. And that's how a lot of these areas are getting warmed up, which is going to be challenging because that means we probably need a more thorough cooling system. Right? If this area right here can get heated up, even though it's sandwiched between two cold areas, just because the dirt that we're putting in here is too hot to fertilize this stuff. Oh boy, that's difficult. Again, if we expanded our ranches, we avoid all this problem. We just need to buy enough time with this food. Cramped. Yeah, we really need to expand out these ranches. We don't want these guys cramped. Tamed, groomed, happy. Cramped, definitely not. Groomed. Yeah, I guess we take this area right here where these guys are cramped and we say max 2 critters. We want to ship them over to here, basically. And we'll say max 4 critters here for now. We want another hatch ranch up and going right over here. Okay, so we need our hatch wrenches expanded. We need the plastic for the steam turbine to keep our cooling system going. We need power as well. More hatches would solve the power issue as well, because we would get coal and it wouldn't be that far away from our base. We have this hydrogen scoop up and going. This line is working. It is all going to here. So now this gas reservoir should start getting filled up. Perfect. Okay, this is, we also want another gas bridge. This isn't strictly necessary because these are all 500 gram packets. So we'll put a lower priority on this. But I want a second gas bridge over here. Sandstone's fine. Just right here. I want them to build this because having two passes at the mechanical filter means that if you have a full packet of hydrogen come in here, you won't have like 1 gram of hydrogen escape out your vent. It's not that big of a deal, but eventually we'll want that, so I'll just queue it up. Getting to gravitas center would give us more steel, but we don't really need steel right now. We really just want to finish up this wire right here and get our plastics operation going, and then we can get the steam turbine down. And we really just want to expand out our hatch ranches, because that solves, like, it frees up all this area for food if we just expand out a bunch of hatch ranches all the way to the edge of the map here. That would mean that we could have a lot more of these mealwood plants go offline and not worry about our cooling for that as much. And then we could devote our ice to our trees, and the trees will get us power. Okay. Well, I think it's time to crank up some power. Let's add, how much do I need to this system? Because we're about to lose all of our coal. About to lose a lot of our coal. Let's add 2,000 watts to the system. I know we don't have enough to run this for long, but let's use our ethanol reserves now, I think, to get the power. It'll also get us some water, which I don't really want to use right now. We'll say 1,000. We'll add 1,000 watts. We'll add 1 kilowatt to the system, and that'll kind of free up some labor because people will be spending less time fetching coal for these coal generators because they'll be running less often, is the plan. Yeah, we can lower the priority. We up this, and then we can just lower the priority on some of these coal generators. Set this one down to an 8. Set this one down to an 8. Set this one down to an 8. Let them deliver coal a little bit less often. Crank up our ethanol through the petroleum generator. And then I still want more ice just to give a one shot of cooling to some of these areas. The other issue is that if we kind of accelerated our progress to get to the gravitas center, along the way we would fetch a lot of regolith, mafic rock, cold granite, stuff like that, and we could use this mafic rock at negative 51 degrees, negative 60 degrees to set up some temp shift plates around our farms and get them all cooled down that way. So there are other benefits to going for the steel earlier on here. Alright, I think I've had enough time to think. Let's unpause. I think we're going to focus on the plastics still. We've got this power system online. You don't need to be running on this anymore. This can be a 7. And we'll say battery recharge threshold 40%. How much power are these going to consume? 480, 240, 240. These can be turned off for now. I have enough oxygen, I think, in these areas. So we're going to be running this for 800 watts. That's not quite going to cover what we need over here, but we're probably going to be toggling on and off these polymer presses so that they don't overheat. Because we don't have a cooling solution in place for them, we're just going to use some sort of passive cooling, let the heat kind of radiate out to these areas and do that. I think that's the plan. Yeah, so let's get this done. They can turn off these. Don't really care about those anymore. And then I guess I want them to focus a little bit more on getting our ranches expanded, because that solves so many problems. Getting the ranching going. Yeah, let's just say priority 8. All this stuff. And digging out this also priority 8. Start setting up another ranch. Base, pneumatic door, aluminum's fine. Slap one down right here. Base, tile, igneous rock, Get this built. Priority 8. All of this stuff as well. What did I have over here that was not prioritized? Oh, the door. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, more ranches means more coal, means more food, means we can free up more area for these mealwood plants, or just not spend as much cooling on the mealwood plants, which means we can spend the cooling on our trees, which means more power, which means we get to run our cooling system more, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so this is down. This is up to 1,000 grams per second now. We're sending the polluted water over to here, which is just going to be electrolyzed, which is not really what we want to do, but that's fine. I don't care enough to change it at this point. Okay, so now we're going to dump a little bit of water on the ground here just to improve the conductivity. And this is really all we need to dump on the water, dump in terms of water here. We just need to get the conduction. So go ahead and turn this off, and let's disable auto bottle because I don't want to be surprised later on. We just need a little bit of water on the ground here just to, not even to soak up heat, but just to improve the conductivity between the polymer press and the surrounding area. Because that's where we get into a lot of problems with getting polymer presses cooled. And we're going to finish up these wires, and then we should start our plastic production. Okay. Not bad. And all of our farms are going offline because we're supplying hot dirt to them, I think is the problem here. We could expand out our cooling system. We can't have this many farms offline. It's got to be the dirt. It's got to be the dirt is just a little bit too hot. They're barely above 30. We just need to get them a little bit lower. We can expand out our cooling system, basically have this branch off over to here. Is a perfectly valid option. It's awkward placing that, though. Like, I would place the valve here. We're so stacked with farms over here, there's not a lot of room, actually, to do that. 24.5. This is coming... What temperature is this coming out at? Okay, this is back up to 12.5. So it's heated up a little bit because we haven't been running the cooling system as much because of power issues. Yeah, I could branch off, send the cooling down over to here, and loop around like that. Because it is the issue, I think, of hot dirt being put in there. Like, where are our dirt supplies? You're at 32.4. If I go to dirt, where... Yeah, dirt. Where are they fetching dirt from? Fetching a lot of dirt from here, which is fine. They're fetching dirt from... Areas like this are not good. Yeah, areas like this are not good. So a lot of the dirt is at like 34.4 degrees, or... a lot of this is under 30. I think it's just occasionally they put hot dirt into these areas. Okay, how do we fix that? I don't know. Yeah, the answer is maybe expanding out our cooling system. Basically taking this loop that we have down here and running it further down. But that's not going to be an easy thing to do. It's going to take a lot of labor to build those pipes. And even then, I mean, ultimately we're trying to transition away from all this stuff. We could just run the ice makers a little bit more, get some ice, do it that way. That's actually probably less labor. So let's do that. Okay, we're going to ignore the problem and hope we don't starve. Not the most strategic of decisions, I guess. Or not the most inspiring of decisions, but... Okay, this is filling up. We're not reusing these at the moment because we haven't finished up this line right here, so the power isn't... We don't have oil going through the system, so we don't have anything being done there. That's fine. We really need to spend some ice down on here. Can't have this many farms offline. Yeah, where are they picking up their dirt from? It's got to be that they have like a hot pile of dirt that's the closest thing now that they're picking up their dirt from. I think it's over here that they're picking up a lot of the dirt. Yeah, and this is at 60. Okay, these are the culprits right here. This dirt is all at like 60 degrees, so when it gets put in here, it raises the temperature. It's only 10 kilograms of dirt, which is not a whole lot, right? But these farm tiles themselves aren't a whole lot either. They're only 100 kilograms of dirt. So you mix in 60-degree dirt, you're going to get hotter stuff here. I don't care about finishing up the CO2 line, really. I mean, we could block this area off and just say don't access that dirt, because that seems to be the problematic dirt. Is this area right here. This dirt that they're picking up right here is heating things up. And I guess they're picking up some dirt like over here in these areas, and that's why some of these are offline, even though they're in cold areas. Man, I was hoping not to have farm issues again. Because once we get to people starving, then the game becomes really tedious. I wanted to get these trees back online so that we'd have our power sorted out before our coal ran out, but now we have to spend our ice on food. Oh boy. What's the priority on these? Priority 8 on all of our ice makers. Sure. That's fine. We'll live with that. These are all awaiting water. Yeah, we even have priority 8 tasks not getting done. Because it takes so long to shuffle all that coal all the way over here. Because they have to run all the way over here, grab the coal, run all the way back. Ugh. Rock in a hard place. We can't have the farms go offline. We starve, we're dead, so can't let the farms go offline. We need cooling to the farms, and our options are spending ice on it or expanding our cooling loop down to here. We're at 710 kilograms of ice. We're pretty close to just being able to do a shot of ice down here. 800 kilograms of ice at, you know, negative 20 degrees-ish is going to be a lot of cooling for these areas and should keep them set for a while, but it's not really going to distribute that cold very well, right? A lot of it's just going to end up in this little water pool that we have over here and just sit there and slowly radiate cooling to these areas, but not fast enough to overcome the fact that we're delivering hot dirt straight to these. Yeah, I think we ultimately need to expand our cooling loop. I don't think we're going to get our hatch ranches online fast enough to really replace a lot of these farms. We're also going to be printing out new duplicants as time goes by, because we're still trying to get up to 70 dupes. So we have a growing problem with food as well. Well, okay. An easy loop we can do actually is maybe we set up a valve right here, right? And we run another line from here down through here, and then link up back over to here. Seems like a fine alternative. And we can just run it like all across sort of the bottom right here, and that should help. Because this water will be, when it gets out through here, I guess it's up to 21 degrees because it ran through the bathrooms. This water's still coming out fairly cold. We need more power though. Oh man. Okay, plumbing. We're gonna need to get this set up at some point, I think. I think we have too much of a choice. Aluminum ores, fine. That's probably what we have in decent supply. Let's set up a valve right here. And then we're gonna say liquid pipe. This is going to be a little bit ugly, but we're going to say granite. And we will run a granite liquid pipe just right across here, I think. And something like this. No, I don't want to run it all the way over here. I think we're gonna have it go down right here-ish. Plumbing, liquid pipe, granite, and then radiant liquid pipe, lead. Fill in these little gaps. Liquid pipe, granite. Yeah, I think we're gonna do it just like this. And then I think have it be just go across straight here. Whoops. Okay, that's the plan. New cooling line to combat the hot dirt that we're putting into these farms. just right across here. We're just going to intersperse some lead radiant pipes in through there. We don't really have a huge quantity of lead to work with. I mean, we have a pretty good amount, but we don't really want to spend a lot of lead. We have a lot of other uses that we have sort of planned for it, so we're going to kind of try and not use a ton of lead. It's also just a limited capacity ultimately to the system. Like, we can't stick with it forever. Yeah, and then we just say liquid bridge. Granite is fine for this. We can liquid bridge onto here, and this should be fine because we have a limited flow coming through here. We're limiting it with this valve right here. Yeah, I think we're gonna be fine with that. Okay, plumbing, radiant liquid pipe, lead, boom, boom. Hook all the rest of this up. And this will be the extension of our cooling line to cool off these lower farms. Okay. Now, what priority do we want to set this system as? Priority, construction. Priority 7. Again, we can't let our food go offline. We actually just die. We don't have any emergency food supplies left. We really can't raid our ranches again. So getting this up and going is pretty important. We're going to say priority 7 and see how quickly they get to it. We have a lot of other priority 8 things going on here. But we're going to need to start using our ethanol reserves, which we were kind of saving until we got our trees online, but then our food went offline. Yeah, the hot dirt issue is actually throwing a big wrinkle into all the plans that I had for this stream. Okay. Unpause. Oh, man. This is rough. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't quite need to go through all of them, but it needs to be a little bit more distributed because the issue is that like it'll conduct heat, right? Like if we cool down some areas, those areas will absorb heat from nearby areas. But we need to have it a little bit more distributed than we have it right now in order to make that function. Also, guys, are you spending any time disinfecting this stuff? Don't disable disinfect for all this stuff. I don't care about this. Yeah, is there disinfect buildings? Is there an easy way to toggle disable disinfect? I don't care about disable. I don't care about disinfecting these things. I don't think. If people get food poisoning, that's fine. Yeah, don't waste your time disinfecting these big things of polluted dirt. It's not. It's going to be a losing battle. Okay. Hydrogen scoop going, pumping into here. That's great. I could set up a little Atmos sensor up here. Basically say only do this when the pressure is high enough. That way we get efficiency out of this. So ultimately the goal is to get more power out of this. We're only getting a fifth of the flow that we should. Yeah, okay. Let's also go ahead and say automation. Atmos sensor, lead. Just hook this up like right here. Automation wire, lead. Yeah. And make this a priority 9. Save on power. There's no point burning hydrogen to run this pump, right? We're kind of... We want this to be a little bit more efficient. Let hydrogen flow through these areas, right? And replenish this before we pump it. Because we already have a big backlog of hydrogen is all ready to run the system once we have it going. So let's add a little bit of that to the system. Yeah, we really want this cooling online. This is way too many farms offline. We're at major risk of starvation now. Oh, we have 713 kilograms of ice. We need 800 to make our next temp shift plate, and it's going to have to go down like right here, I think, and try and cool down these areas. That is the plan. This is way too many farms offline. We are going to run out of food very quickly here. They are wrangling. Where are they wrangling them to? To here? Yeah, 4 out of 3, 2 out of 2, 2 out of 3. Yeah, we need to expand out these ranches as well. Oh, man. I did not foresee that hot dirt was going to mess with our cooling. I had planned on basically just getting the plastics and then spending the cooling on the trees, getting our power solution sorted out before our coal ran out. And now we kind of have to rely on coal a little bit longer, which means we need to dig out more coal, which is troublesome. Also, oh, we finally did deliver. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and empty this. And now these are all cramped. But now we should say max storage 2 critters. How many eggs do they have in the room already? We're going to say 2 critters. And they'll move them over to this drop-off point. Max 0 critters. Okay. This can be max 4 critters for now. Slicksters, we have 1, 2. There's a larva egg in here. Okay, yeah, I think this is the right number. So they'll need to wrangle that up a little bit, but then we should be fine. You guys actually starving? No. No. And no, you guys are all fine. Okay. Someone made a mod for me to deal with the starvation issue, but I just haven't looked into it enough. So I'm still kind of behind on that. But so I feel bad not using that. Because there's literally something that'll change the starvation message to just trigger at a lower calorie threshold. How are we doing over here? Making plastic. Just need 200 kilograms. What are we up to now? 30 kilograms. Perfect. Temperature-wise, we're dumping the heat into this area just fine, it looks like. Polymer presses are still good. They're rising. We'll toggle them off if they get too hot. Right, because this sort of passive system is not going to be great because there's a lot of heat around the area anyways. The temperature is pretty high, so it's not going to be great. Ideally, we would actually have an active cooling system for all that, but that's fine. Food shortage, starvation. What did I pause for? Let's keep going. This guy I want to wrangle at some point and put him back in these areas, but not now, I think. And we fetched the meat from over here, right? Yeah, they're picking up dirt from here. I could wall this area off. Eventually, all this dirt's going to run out, though, and then they'll go fetch it from somewhere else. It'll hopefully be a little bit cooler. We just really need to shift away from mealwood. That's the long story short. Okay, we need to spend our ice now. Utilities, temp shift plate, ice. And where are we going to get the most bang for our buck? Here's pretty good. Or right here. Because that's a lot of farms that come back online with that. Another option actually is that we set it up right here, but then we just get rid of this tile right here. We kind of uproot this farm for a second and let it flow down into here and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I kind of like that idea. So let's go ahead and say temp shift plate. Doesn't really matter where we put it now, I guess. I want it a little bit closer to this right here. Sure. Slap a temp shift plate of ice right here. Priority 9. And the plan will be once this area is cooled down a little bit, we're going to get rid of this farm tile and let the water drain out to here and then cool down this area right here. And then we'll have it all mopped up. And then the excess will flow out to here, so it'll be a small mop job. Like, it won't be mopping up the full 800 kilograms. A good chunk of that 800 kilograms, like the vast majority of it, is going to end up in this area right here. And then we can, ultimately, we can just drain out this area anytime we want by getting rid of this insulated tile. And then use a pump or whatever we want to do for this solution for what we want to do with this stuff over here. But should help us a lot with keeping our farms online. And then once this cooling solution is in place, I think we're going to be a lot more effective at keeping them under 30 degrees. And we're just trying to do this for long enough to bridge ourselves to expanding out our hatch ranches. This is set to send green signal if below. Yeah, let's make sure that we're doing this the way we want to. I don't want these turning off randomly. This is saying send a green signal if above. We're going to say above 500 grams. So this should shut off. And this will make sure that we're getting sort of the maximum efficiency out of this hydrogen scoop up here. We have enough hydrogen to work with for now that I think we're perfectly fine. Not even if this thing is off for a long period of time, we're fine with that. We have so much hydrogen built up here. This isn't a huge power draw on the system. I think we'll be fine. We also have this manual generator to kind of top things off over time. So these polymer presses have produced 90 kilograms of plastic. We just need 200. We're pretty much halfway there. And then we can run this operation a few more times later on when we need to get a little bit more plastic for like the next turbine. Speaking of our turbine though, actually we want to make it out of lead, right? We're going to go steam turbine, because the overheat temperature of a steam turbine is 1,000 degrees Celsius. But in reality, the steam turbine stops working once it reaches 100 degrees Celsius. So it's not a relevant overheat temperature. They put it at a huge number. So if we make this thing out of lead and plastic, right? Even though lead has an overheat temperature of minus 20 degrees, I should say, right? It lowers it by 20 degrees. That isn't going to change anything here. So we'll just use lead and then the plastic that we get from this operation and set up our steam turbine. And I think once we have the steam, and we're going to like hit it right on the money. We want to get this up when it's around 200 degrees Celsius. A little bit higher is fine. We just really don't want to get above 325 degrees. That's where everything breaks and we die. So I think we're good on that front. And then this, we need a new cooling system. The cooling system we'll need to devote a lot of time to after that. But this steam turbine should help us out with power and should also just keep the system running. Speaking of, how am I hooking up the steam turbine? I need to think a little bit about that. We need basically a heavy watt joint plate somewhere here. Probably like right here is fine. Doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Anywhere across here would work. Yeah, let's just go for the simplest solution. Power, heavy watt joint plate. This can be made out of anything. Let's go with aluminum, I guess. I don't know, copper. What's close by here? Not a lot. I guess aluminum is the closest. Okay. Power. What was I doing? Heavy watt joint plate, aluminum. Going to slap one of these down right here. And then heavy watt wire, aluminum is going to go up here. And then we are also going to run it down over here, like so. Right? Priority 8, all of this. So that's next up on the docket. We will need to mop up a lot of the stuff from this ice temp shift plate once this melts. Like, we're going to need to work on this area a little bit. Apparently the ice that we supplied to this area already melted. I mean, that's actually kind of a good thing. It'll start cooling down this area faster. What are we down to? 30.9, so not much of it melted. We just need to get these under 30. That's all we need to do. Get them under 30, get them back on operating. I don't want this. What are you doing here? Where's my storage point for these things? Down here, right? Sweep only long hair larva eggs. Yeah, okay. Sweep this up and let's go ahead and sweep this one up. Yeah, we need to raise the temperatures in our slickster ranches so we actually get more slicksters. But we need to move our slickster ranches before we do that. Our food is dropping off a cliff very quickly here, as predicted. Oh, man. We need these farms online. I don't want to be starving again. It's so problematic. It is such a pain to play when you actually have a risk of starvation. I want this cooling system online. Have we made enough plastic yet? Where are we at? 90 kilograms still. These are not running because this oil refinery is not running, so someone needs to run this. We have this at a 9. Yeah. This is slowly regaining pressure. What did we earn colony achievement-wise? What happened? Have a duplicate eat any cooked meal prepared at an electric grill or gas range. Oh, someone, interesting. So we we didn't do that, not really. But we had printed out some fried mushroom, and apparently someone finally got around to eating it, and so we got the achievement. Interesting. We didn't actually cook it ourselves, though. It was just printed for us. So, you know, found a neat way to cheat our way past that. That's interesting. In any case, yeah, we need the hydrogen scoop up to supply our power, because this running around and grabbing coal thing is getting tedious, and it's lowering how much time we have to do all of our other stuff. And we need this cooling solution up. I haven't been streaming on Twitch. I could stream on Twitch. Can I access this? Yeah, but they can access this. I could stream on Twitch. I've back in the day when Artifact was a game, I streamed a little bit on Twitch. Though it's kind of a dead game now. But I could. YouTube is just kind of easier though, because I've basically just been making a lot of YouTube content, so I feel like a lot of my audience is on YouTube. And once I kind of figured out the little, you know, special things for YouTube versus the other stuff, I think it's as easy to stream on YouTube as it is on Twitch. So I've just been doing YouTube. Okay, so this is all done. We want to deconstruct this priority 9 now. Get rid of this. Will they be able to hop down here? Let's do something else. Whoops. Plumbing. Liquid pipe. Granite. Let's not get rid of that. Priority back to 7. Let's deconstruct this one, because I'm not sure if they can jump from here to here, but I know they can jump across from here. So we're going to deconstruct this one at priority 9 and let the water fall down to here and then drain out to here. And try and get these farms online again so that we don't starve. Favorite map so far since release? Good question. I mean, probably the best one to play on is like Rime, where you just never need to worry about heat for most of the game. I think almost Rime is easier than a lot of the other maps, and it also kind of presents its own interesting challenges. I think this one is the most challenging. I think Iridio, I don't think Iridio is as bad as Oasis, although Iridio has some interesting things going on with it as well. But I think Oasis is the absolute hardest. So this one is like pretty high up there. I'm kind of curious as to what they'll do in terms of changing the starting areas for like DLC and stuff like that, because that's something that not a lot of people expected, that there would be just a brand new starting area, right? The forest biome start that operates on just completely different principles than the sandstone biome did, because the forest biome is really all about not printing too many duplicates, right? It's like really heavily focused on, you print too many duplicates, you're going to die. And the sandstone biome start is like, you can print a lot of duplicates, but then you just need to solve these problems faster. So it's kind of interesting in what dynamic they'll give to future starting biomes. But I really like forest biome starts just because they're new and novel. And I think eventually I will be kind of like, oh yeah, you know, that's a normal thing. But for now, it's still just sort of like, oh yeah, this is I've never done this before, right? This is a completely new way to play Oxygen Not Included. And it is, right? Like the difference is pretty big, at least at the start. We have this fine, this fine, this fine. Okay. We are up to 210 kilograms of plastic. So I think we are ready to say power, steam turbine, make this out of lead. We're going to slap this down right here, basically. Plumbing-wise, this is correct, right? Yeah, plumbing-wise, this works just fine. Power-wise, this puts us with that out right there. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to say steam turbine right there. Colony lacks electrical engineering skill. I did not know you needed electrical engineering to do that. That's solvable, though. Skills. Who has any engineering skills? I have an operator that's kind of set up to do this stuff. I don't really want to have it be Jean. He's more of our construction guy. Catalina is a critter rancher. I don't really want her. Someone else. Who else has it? Jean, Catalina, Hassan, May, Marie, Otto, Harold. Let's go to Otto down here. Otto number 2. You like electrical engineering? And you're a farmer, though. Who else? I don't really want to divert farmers from these tasks quite yet. Harold. Harold, you're perfect. You like electrical engineering, and you have nothing else to occupy your time. Let's go ahead and make you an electrical engineer. Yeah, perfect. And we can go ahead and say that this is like priority 9. And let's priority 9 all the rest of this stuff as well. And say plumbing, insulated liquid pipe, igneous rock should be fine for now. Just do something like this. This is going to generate a lot of heat pretty quickly, though. I might want to actually get my cooling solution for this figured out before we do this. Like, it doesn't need to be much, right? It can actually be pretty simple here, but we do want to have it in place. Plumbing, liquid pipe, probably just granite pipe zigzagging across here would be enough. Right? And then we could bridge from here down across. Yeah, just siphon it off from like right here. Would work just fine. There's probably a little bit more digging that I need to do to clear out just a little bit more area. We also could be siphoning water out of our cooling system because we're dropping a lot of it in through our wastewater system. There's really no... I guess we're slowly drawing down our wastewater system to fill up the cooling lines. Now, I think I want to keep it a closed system. Okay, so let's say plumbing. We want to say liquid valve. We're going to set a liquid valve, I guess, right here. And we're just going to take we're just going to divert a very small amount of water. You can even set it right here. We're just going to divert a very small amount of water up across here to work on this. And then just have it go back into... I could also use this to bridge off, like it'll go through this and then supply a cooling line for this entire system. Is a possibility. Okay, I think I figured out what I want to do. Dig out this, priority 8. We're going to, oh, I have it set on construction. Priority 8. Dig out all this, please. And then we are going to... I have 2 ways of doing it, don't I? So we can either deconstruct this liquid vent, which blocks our ability to really put more into the system, which I don't quite like. Or we could just deconstruct this pipe and then rebuild it, and then have our cooling, right? Have this coolant that we're sending through here. So we're basically, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna have a liquid valve right here. This is gonna control how much cooling goes to this steam turbine system over here, right? That cooling is then going to have to rejoin our cooling loop somewhere. I'm thinking of cannibalizing this line that we have right here, going down all this way, using that as what we're going to, how we're going to bridge this off. And then that leaves open the possibility later, as we expand out to the west, of using this line and that valve to control how much cooling is going to this entire region over here. So we can kind of bisect our entire system, right? Make it like a kind of butterfly it out, where we have the one wing right here and then another wing kind of going out right here. I think that'll help future-proof us for future cooling. And it's really just like, for now, because we don't have this area expanded out, it's just going to link back. Like, it's just going to follow this line and then link back somewhere over here. So it's not going to be some big issue. But that's the plan, I think, is, and we can also just add siphons to this if we ever want to remove water. And the nice thing is, because we're sending it through the steam turbine first, right, we can have this water be relatively warmer, right? We can basically keep one wing, this sort of industrial wing, at a different standard for coolness as this other one by just controlling how much flow we send through that valve. So that's the plan. I think that's going to work fairly well. So liquid valve, copper ore, or actually we'll go with aluminum ore. Set up a liquid valve right here, and then say liquid pipe, granite. We're just going to bridge our way. This is going to look kind of ugly, but you know, butterflies, they have to be in a cocoon to become pretty. There's something. There's an analogy here, right? It's not. it's a bad analogy, but there's an analogy to be made here about how we have to make sacrifices to reach our prettiness. You know, butterflies, etc. Okay, enough about that. Liquid pipe, granite. We're going to, I think, just say granite line right here. I think we can do the entire thing granite, actually. We'll replace it with radiant lead pipe if need be. But I think we're just going to zigzag all the way across here. And maybe I don't want to do the digging. Maybe I do. Because now that I have actually done this, we're in sort of the wrong area. I can't dig up here because then all the sand falls in. All right, whatever. Cancel this digging. Change my mind. Plumbing, liquid pipe, granite. I guess I do need to dig out here just to access that area. Okay, digging's back. Priority 8. And then the question is, do we want to deconstruct this and reconstruct it? Or, yeah, I think we're just going to deconstruct this. We're going to deconstruct this tile. That way we can access the pipe down here. And we're going to say plumbing. We're going to deconstruct and reconstruct this pipe just to disconnect it from this liquid vent. And if we ever need to, we can reconnect this if we change our minds on how this works. But we'll leave the liquid vent in there for now. The other alternative is that we just deconstruct this liquid vent diagonally once we've cleared out this. But I think we want to keep the vent in there. No reason to get rid of it at this point. Yeah, so we'll deconstruct that, reconnect it, and then plumbing, liquid pipe. Yeah, we're just going to connect back to this system over here. Yeah, I don't think we wanted to do anything with this metal refinery. This whole system is just going to be deprecated. We're going to... Maybe we could link back to this. I'm not really enthusiastic about that. Yeah, I think we just want to... Well, we could link back up here. Yeah, maybe we do that. So liquid pipe, granite. We will hook back up right here. And then we could send overflow out, but I think instead what we're going to do is we're going to say liquid bridge, granite, slap this down right here, and then just take this liquid pipe and deconstruct it. So we're going to use the pipe that we used to plumb the system to just link it back up over to here, and that will kind of allow us again to expand the system really easily later on. So trying to keep an eye on the future, basically. Priority 5 on a lot of this stuff is fine. I guess we don't really care about getting the steam turbine built right away. Power needs to be built first. So the power is not quite hooked up. Let's fix that first off. Power, heavy watt wire, a couple more over here. So that will hook up the system power-wise. Plumbing-wise, this is all basically not complete. We need to go plumbing, liquid pipe, granite, and then branch off right here. And then once when we deconstruct and reconnect this pipe, we'll connect it up to here as well. All right, cool. I think that is all set. Priority, though, should probably be on... Yeah, I don't know. Getting this steam turbine up and going soon is important, because we're already at 200 degrees, which is going to be the point that we care about. Anything more than that, we're just kind of losing efficiency. I want to get this cooling system up and going, though, too. Maybe it's a moot point. We need to mop up all this water first. Mop up liquid spills, priority 9. Get all of this stuff up and going again. Mop all this up, please. And then we're going to say priority. I guess we can take away some priority from this system over here. We want to say, okay, food. We can already get our next critter ranch up and going, so to speak. Copper ore's fine. You don't have any copper ore to work with close by, but you're not going to have any aluminum ore close by to work with either. Boom, boom, critter drop off. Let's go with copper ore again. Yeah, and then stations, we will say grooming station, copper ore, set up another ranch basically right here. And for now, this should be fine. We can cancel this build and dig out like so. Okay. Yeah, set up another ranch right here. We're going to say that this is priority 8. Getting this sort of rudimentary stuff up and going. We're going to say this area right here is all just priority 7 stuff. Not super concerned with it at the moment. This is going to remain priority 8. That way we can have extra storage area for our CO2. That way we can get more CO2 pumping out of here. And then I kind of want to take this line that we have right here. Yeah. I want to say priority construction. I want to bump all this stuff up to 8. So I think getting this cooling system online before we starve to death is going to be important. Okay. Long pause, but gave me some time to think about how we don't die here. Okay. Yeah, we really need to get our food going. Oh, man. Hot dirt, huh? That's the issue. Okay, these can go ahead and be turned off. If above, we have all the plastic we need. This also can be set to priority 5. I don't really care. Yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. This will turn on occasionally to pump out to this gas reservoir. That's fine. Okay, so this system is basically set up for now, and we'll come back to it later when we need more plastic. But we're pretty good with the way things are at the moment. Oxygen levels are not great here, but they're fine in this area. Yeah, we're just going to let all the hydrogen kind of rise up to here and get pumped out and then used for the power system here. And there's not much else we need to do over here for now until we need our next system up and going. This hydrogen scoop is also going to be part of our power solution. We kind of want to link it up to this area over here, though, as well, to get all this hydrogen going out there. We can wait on that, though. Okay. Yeah, and I think we're fine leaving this where it is. We'll leave the hydrogen scoop for later. Okay, that's it. Mop up. Get all these plants going again. Get all this mopped up. Mop up. Mop up, mop up, mop up, mop up. Get all these plants growing. We need our plants growing. We can't starve. If we starve, we lose. And we have enough ethanol, I suppose, right now. We probably need to replace a little bit more of the coal. No, we'll leave it as it is right now. I don't want to go through all of our ethanol reserves, because these ethanol reserves also represent our ability to generate polluted water. This is apparently not finished draining yet. I need this stuff mopped up, you guys. What's the temperature like over here? These temperatures are fine now. These temperatures are not that great. This should be okay, though. Once we get the mop up done, these should start growing again. We need the mop up done, though. And then we need to get, I guess, all these online. Oh, yeah, we really need this cooling system up and going. Oh. Is priority 8 fast enough? Do we need to priority 9 this? Probably not. It's priority 7. Yeah, and then we'll say priority 7 on all this stuff. This can all be priority 7. This thing needs to be priority 9, though. Okay, it's still priority 9. We want to redirect some cooling as well, though, I think. 14 degrees, yeah. We also want to change this to like 1500. No, let's crank it further down. I don't have my petroleum generators running at this point, so I don't have my natural gas generators running at this point either. So cooling down this area anymore doesn't seem that effective, right? I'd rather actually be sending more cooling to these areas here. And ultimately, we're going to divert some more over to here. So I think doing that plus, and this is just sending everything that way. Okay, that's fine. Let's toggle this and get more flow going through here. And that should also help with our cooling. Yeah, this is all cool. It's really just these central areas where the hot dirt is still being delivered. Okay. 27.1, 23.6, 18.3, and it's actually stable through here because it's cooled down this area enough. Sure. We have enough for another shot of ice, which we might want to do as well. Yeah, let's set up another thing of ice as well. I think right here would be good. Say utilities, temp shift plate, second shot of ice to this area right over here is the plan. And we'll set it up right here, let's say. Temp shift plate, there we go. Priority 9. And that'll get these all growing again, is the plan. How are we going over here? Food poisoning. Awkward. Okay. We also need to settle our stress at some point, which will be a little bit of an issue. Yeah, oh man. We need to get our trees online as well. This power situation is getting... I expected we'd solve the power situation first, but we're just getting pushed back a little bit. Okay. Will we avoid starvation? Oh, man. Still, mop, 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 mop. I want this stuff mopped up. Get our plants growing again. Get them online. I don't have emergency food supplies at this point. We run out of food, we starve. We're out of the... I mean, I guess we could cannibalize our ranches, but that's setting us so far back at this point. The ranches are still pretty small. Oh, boy. We also need these expanded. What is this? Storing 1 out of 4 critters. Why are you trussed up? Because of eggs in the room? You can store max 4 critters. I don't understand. These guys not cramped. Some of them are glum. That's fine. Okay. Are we getting there? Are we avoiding starvation? We can always do more mush bars, but that's gonna, like, we have a limited supply of water. This is gonna break. This broke. So our water supplies are gone, right? We knew this thing would break eventually. It's gotten there. It's broken. So we don't have more water coming into the system over here. We're also going to make sure no one comes and repairs that, because that's not going to be effective. So our water supplies are what we got, right? The water supplying our oxygen right now, plus whatever we have in these lines, is basically it, right? We don't have another supply of water until we get our metal refining online, besides just the reserves that we have. So, because we want to set up metal refining to get the steel. We get the steel, we can then set up some aqua tuners around this saltwater geyser that are made out of steel, and combine that with a steam turbine and use that to supply water to these systems over here. And then these aqua tuners will, besides kind of purifying this water for us, also be able to cool down our oxygen that's coming in. That is the plan for that, but that is a ways away because we got distracted trying to keep ourselves from starving, which we haven't fully accomplished yet. Also, oh boy. So we need metal refining up relatively soon because our oxygen, again, we stopped producing the polluted dirt. Right? So we're not, like, our polluted dirt right now is at 140 tons, and that's off-gassing into oxygen, right? But it's not the 140 tons is not going to be enough. It's not going to off-gas fast enough to supply 51 duplicants with oxygen. So we have in this water reservoir 3.3 tons of water. We have 3.3 tons of water. Each dupe is consuming 100 grams per second of oxygen. When do we run out of oxygen? How much time do we have to get metal refining online, to get more steel, and to build this entire system? We have to build an entire system as well, and a cooling system to go with it. We have 3.3 tons left. I guess we have some backups here, right? These are hot. They're not easy to work with, but they're. Come just think of it. Why isn't this? Okay, so this liquid reservoir could be destroyed. It's going to be fine, I think. But it's got 5 tons of water above its the point where it takes damage. Okay, so our water supplies are done. 3.3 tons. We're consuming 51 times 100 grams per second, so 5 kilograms of oxygen per second, roughly speaking. 600 seconds in a day. I feel like we do not have a whole lot of oxygen left either. We don't have the trees online, so we're not getting polluted dirt, we're not getting polluted water to run this process. We are actually in a really bad oxygen crunch as well. That's scary. Also, I guess it's just a base, tile, igneous rock. Let's get whatever aluminum we can from these bits. Priority 9, all of this stuff. Get some more aluminum to work with here. We have 3.3 tons of water left in reserves. Down here. We have a good amount here. Pumping that back, getting that to our electrolyzers is going to be a pain though. We can run these electrolyzers up here, but it's only 2 of them. I want to set up a new electrolyzer room. We still just need to sort our food. The heat. The heat is a major issue. Who'd have thunk on Oasis, heat being a major issue. We can spread out the dirt across more storage bins, which will get the off-gassing happening faster. We need room for that. Also, the dirt is hot. 64.3 degrees. Like, this is a major... It comes out at 75 degrees, so that's a bit of an issue. Man. Okay, well, we're going to have oxygen problems. I don't know a way around it. We don't have a huge supply of oxygen in the base either. This is good, but it's not great. It's better than most of the run. Okay, so we're going to have oxygen problems because we run out of water. We're just going to have to deal with that as it comes, I think, and focus on getting the food up and running right now because we die if we don't have food, so let's solve that first. Let's get that one solved first. Mop up this, get all these plants growing again. And then we'll build this temp shift plate. This will cool down these farms. And then we need to get this cooling up and going really badly. Yeah, this is all priority 8. I don't think we're going to bump it up to priority 9. We're getting some aluminum. Great. This will help us out. Starvation. Probably actual starvation for some of these guys because we don't have the food. Oh, the game gets really tedious again. I mean, we can kill some hatches because we don't have the hatch expansion done yet, so it's not the biggest deal if we do, I guess, since they're cramped already. But it's not what we want to be doing. We don't want to be killing off hatches for food. Also, given the number of farms that are offline, we have just bigger issues. We probably won't even have enough hatches. Oh, man. I'm not even sure the second cooling line really solves everything because we see a lot of these turned off as well. And we need power to keep running the cooling system, which is a major issue. $13.5 hits here, merges with the excess wastewater. 23.7 comes up here. We're getting it out at 11.5. If we lowered this by another 5 degrees or so, I mean, what would it take to get these cool enough? Man, I mean, this line is actually just wedged between two cold areas and it's still getting heated up because of the dirt. The dirt is no longer at the right temperature for these farms. Oh, boy. I'm not exactly sure how we solve this. I mean, we can try and bar them from using hot dirt. The issue is that they have to then walk further to grab the dirt. And also, we probably just don't have a whole lot of cold dirt left, right? So here's dirt. There's a lot of it down here, which is hot, which we can block them off from using, right? Just build a little barrier right here. There's also some dirt in these areas, which is going to be fairly hot, which we don't really want them to use, but we don't have a good way of blocking them off from that, besides just saying that only ranchers can come in here. We could do that. Dirt up here. Is there any? There's some here. Not a whole lot. Dirt up here is fairly hot. Yeah, they're just, all the cold dirt is slowly going away. We have some cooler dirt up here if they make this journey all the way up to here to go and grab that. We could also, I suppose, dig out this dirt right here. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, let's work on that actually. This is probably what I should have done at the start. Just dig out a fresh supply of dirt for them to be using in the farms. This is all relatively cool. And then they can use that as opposed to the hotter stuff. Hopefully that makes some of a difference. Yeah, let's try doing that. And then this dirt's fine too. We can use that. That might be the fastest way to solve a lot of this problem. This dirt is fine as well, so let's go ahead and say base, tile, igneous rock. Do this. Yeah, I probably should have just done this. Now that I think about it. This is probably the easier out to a lot of this heating problem. Just dig out any dirt that we have over here. All this is fine as well. And then let's go ahead and say priority 8 on all of this digging. More cold dirt supplies, please. And then on construction, we can say this is a priority 8 as well. That should help us as well. Okay. I think that solves it. I think the issue with putting ice in like a container is that they then spend a lot of time transporting small amounts of ice. And also the ice melts periodically and needs to be mopped up periodically. So doing it all in one go is usually a little bit more labor effective. A little bit less labor intensive to do it that way, to just use the temp shift plate. It does mean that we need to wait till we have 800 kilograms of ice to get that cooling done, but I think it just takes too much labor to do it the other way. They end up spending way too much time on that. Okay, let's try and free up some colder dirt to supply into these farm tiles, and then hopefully that will help solve a lot of these issues with the food, because they're picking it up from these hot areas, and that's just not super effective right now. Not Gucci is what that is. If I had done this at the start, probably just digging out this dirt, I think we actually would have avoided all these problems. It just didn't occur to me to do that. We didn't realize how bad the problem was until it got really bad, and now people are starving. Which is not good. Which is really not good. Oh, because it's so tedious to try and manage things, micromanage things when we have very little in the way of food. It is really difficult. How many more of these critter eggs do we have down here? Just 3? Okay. Oh, never mind. We have a lot more than that. We have a lot of long-haired larva eggs. We could set up an egg cracker as well. I'm kind of tempted to do that. Then I'd also need to set up an electric grill somewhere. I mean, this is doable, but we could just start cracking these long-haired larva eggs. How close are these to finishing up their incubation? 96%? Okay, so we're going to get a little bit of fresh meat from these as we go. We also kind of want to kill off some of these sage hatches. What is the... Why do I have these guys... So we're hatches. We can say sage hatches and sage hatchlings are allowed in here. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll allow... I don't know. I kind of wanted to get rid of the sage hatches, but we'll live with them. That's why they're not being untrussed. We'll do that. Care package. Well, if there's food there, we're taking it, I think. Wow, 500 kilograms of plastic. That's also pretty good. Because that is actually worth like a lot of oil. We have Gossman, Ashcan, and Meemaw. Which of these can we accept? We only have one Ashcan. We only have one Gossman. And we have 2 Meemaws, so we can't take the Meemaw. So Ashcan and Gossman, +7 science, mole hands. I think we're taking the plastic. Again, we're kind of slowing down our dupe production just because we're capping ourselves at 70 anyways. So grabbing the last 19 is not something we strictly need to rush ourselves to. Yeah, let's take some plastic. Food-wise, we are still in a rough spot. A lot of these farms are offline. Too many farms are offline. Way too many farms offline. Hot dirt. We should have dug this out a lot sooner. This water over here is a little bit too hot. Is this moppable? If I said mop, could you mop this? No. Cannot mop this, needs to be drained at some point. Sure. This right here is still under 30 degrees, so should be benefiting us. Growth halted body temperature. Really? Already? Contents dirt 30, 30.6, 30.3, 33, 31. We need cooler dirt. Okay. What do we want to do? How do we not starve here? How do we not starve here besides eating all of our hatches, which we don't want to do? Because that is going to set us back a long ways. This is all done. We're not operating this anymore. Is there any extra food. I guess there is some right here. We'll say priority 9 this to get that muck root. Any other food we can grab somewhere. The lettuce isn't growing because of temperature issues, right? Also because we dug a lot of it up. Yeah, growth halted, body temperature, too hot, it's above 65 degrees. Don't really want to kill off poke shells because they're the only thing that's going to help cool down that area for the time being. Man. So how close are a lot of these? 96%, 92%, 95%. Okay, a lot of these are actually really close. Like 4 of them are really close to being done. Drop that egg. Alright, let's go ahead and attack this guy and get his meat. Since we're not going to wrangle him in, I think, at this point. He's also probably glum because he hasn't been groomed in a long time. So let's just get rid of him. There's no more pips really to kill. I don't want to kill off Drecos. Yeah, just way too many of these offline. No ice to work with. We just need to get this cooling loop up and going. We need to get this cooling loop up and going. Oh, man. I should have been digging out this dirt right at the start. If we had done this at the start of the stream, we wouldn't have these problems, I think. Dig out this as well. Digging, priority 8. And while we're at it, digging, priority 8 on these. We could have avoided this problem. I should have thought of this at the start, though. It took us a little while to realize it was hot dirt that was causing the issue. And then the reaction was another cooling line, but instead, just solving the hot dirt problem at its source. Oh, live and learn, live and learn. Are any of you guys actually starving? 934, 956, 973, 935. Okay, cool. We have what we need for the steam turbine. I kind of want to get that set up as well because that helps us a lot with the power issues. We're also at 200 degrees Celsius here. I need to avoid starving though. That's pretty brutal if it happens to us. What is the CO2 at? 28.8. I kind of want to finish the CO2 line, but that's such a low priority at the moment, I guess. Yeah, attack this guy, get a little bit more food. We'll get a little bit more food from these as they hatch. We kind of want to wait for them to hatch because we get 3,200 kilograms as opposed, or 3,200 kilocalories as opposed to 2,800 from cracking open the egg. But we might have to crack open some eggs as well and make some omelets. Oh, man. Unreachable food times 8. That's not good. Yeah, I want this cooling solution done. The priority 8, though, they're not doing it. If I set it to priority 9, we're probably going to have a lot of other stuff have troubles. This is a pretty long cooling line that we're making here. I could make a shorter one that goes just through here. I don't think it's going to be really effective, though. Like, I want this ice temp shift plate done so we can get this area cooled down. Hot dirt. Oi. I should have seen this coming. Oh, there's a lot of dirt over here as well. That's also part of the issue. We left a lot of our dirt in our industrial area. And that's part of why the problem has happened. Yeah, okay. Oh, man. Oh, I thought we were past this. I thought we were past all the starving. But apparently not. Groomed, happy. I mean, if any of these guys are cramped, we have to kill them off anyways. Just to keep the eggs flowing. So we can get the eggshell to get the steel. for our next aqua tuners. We can process fossil, but that's also going to take a lot more work. Also means breaking into a lot of hotter areas, I think, where the fossil is going to be a bit of a challenge to get to. We've gone through about half of our ethanol reserves in terms of the power. I mean, at least we have the plastic. We have the materials to make the steam turbine at this point. The food issues. We also, again, just because our water supply is shut off, I mean, we've already gone through half a ton of water in our reserves here. We're about to have our oxygen shut off. And that is also going to be a knife at our throat, because we are so far away from getting our metal refineries up. Oh, man. I think literally if we'd just done this at the start of the stream, we wouldn't actually be having these problems. That's kind of frustrating. Also dig out this. Priority 8. More dirt, priority 8. And we can dig out this as well. Priority 8. I don't really want to refine any aluminum. We need to start working on the metal refineries, but we need so many other things before that happens. So what is the solution to, I mean, I don't think at this point we can get our water supplies back online. This temperature is way too high. We can't come up with a cooling solution for this. It's going to be anywhere near effective. It's going to be coming out 95 degrees. We need the steel, or at least we can't make a cooling solution until we have the steel. And so expect our water supplies to go offline, and which means we need something to bridge us there. We do have algae, which can last us at least a few cycles. Right, this is only 200 kilograms per tile, so it's not a lot. Again, we're consuming about 5 kilograms of oxygen per second. So 200 kilograms of algae is not a lot of seconds that you're ultimately adding to your lifespan. How do we solve this? Well, I think we need the cooling solution online regardless, just to get these areas back and cooled again. Also, because we haven't been printing out dupes, we have multiple stress problems now as opposed to just a few of them, and everyone else is kind of slowly ticking up, which eventually becomes a problem because we're already kind of short on labor given the amount of time that we need to spend fetching coal, planting and re-fertilizing mealwood, supplying ice makers. We could abandon a lot of the ice makers at this point. We need power too. We need everything. We need more food, more oxygen, more cooling, more power. We have every single problem facing us down right now. I don't think I mean, we can't even get to space, really, because of the combination of temperature and oxygen issues. That's why we never got up to here to get the steel from the Gravitas Center. It's just because the heat issues meant scalding, plus the amount of time it would take to get up there. I don't think we can hunt shovels. Shovels are I mean, one interesting thing about shovels is that they provide 5 times the meat of a hatch, and a hatch already provides like twice as much meat as a normal critter. So they are incredibly good for ranching for meat. They don't do much else. I mean, I guess some eggshell, but getting a few of them would actually be a really fast way to ramp up our meat production. We have made virtually no progress on getting our hatches expanded, though. Oh, man. Okay. Let's unpause and hope we don't starve. Some of these are about to mature. We're going to have some stuff to hunt. We need to get this cooling system online. I don't know another way to put it. I mean, I think we just at this point say priority 9 on all this construction. We need our cooling line built yesterday. If our power goes offline and stuff like that, we can deal with it, I suppose. We could burn a little bit more ethanol. Oh, man. 954, 712, 882, 928, 954. Okay. We're staving off starvation. Barely. Barely. How many hatches do we have total here? 3, 2, 3, 3. Plus a bunch of eggs, but we're not going to count them for a while because they are going to take a while to hatch. This is brutal. Hot dirt, huh? That's what brings us down. We ran out of our cold dirt. They started grabbing hot dirt and putting it in places. That is so bad. That is a really dumb way to lose a game. Also, while we're at it, food, farm tile. Let's go ahead and replace this. Priority 9. Man. Okay. So we have our cooler dirt now, and ideally we should start replacing, like, these areas should start getting cooled down because they're between two really cold areas, right? This area is all 20 degrees, this area is all 20 degrees. So these areas are fine. We're going to expand out our cooling loop. That should hopefully cover a lot more of this stuff. And then they'll have cooling coming from both the bottom and the top here. And that should get things in line, I guess. Every time we see unreachable food, that means we're probably having actual legitimate starvation happening. Copy settings, copy to here. We're going to need to go and fetch lead from up here, which is going to be quite a journey. Oy, 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 oy. This is priority 9. Yeah. Any other food we can grab anywhere? We went through all of our emergency supplies, didn't we, on the last time this happened? There's nowhere else we can really set up farmland either, right? All these areas are going to be way too hot. I guess this edge right here is okay. And then what? There's nothing over here. There's nothing over here. There's nothing over here. Yeah, okay. There's no random farmland we can get to. We might have to restart to the beginning of the stream and then actually just dig out this stuff at the start. Because that actually solves the problem for us. And then we're on the timetable that we want to be on. And we're not starving and we're not having these issues. It's literally just that, because we just needed this food to last just long enough to get our ranches continuing to build. The fact we have to do this whole new cooling system, all this, it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided so easily if I'd realized fast enough what was happening. If we had just gotten there quicker, mentally, we would have solved this problem. We could also start getting some cooling going through the system sooner by just setting up like a liquid bridge somewhere, but not having it lead anywhere. Right, just to give it a place to kind of go. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that as well. Let's get liquid bridge. I don't really care what this is built out of. Igneous rock is fine. Let's do one of these leading to nowhere. And then I guess once this lead pipe is finished up, then we can get the water, we can get coolant flowing down to here, right? And we'll be able to start getting some cooling to these areas. Because this will come in at 20 degrees, which should be able to cool down these farms. And we'll just sort of do it piecemeal as we go through here. In fact, maybe we want to... Because we can just run liquid pipe straight through all these, right? We can actually direct the cooling straight to them, even if we don't run a cooling loop through there all the way. I don't know, let's get the big one done first. Who's actually starving? Let's do it the easier way. We go to vitals, fullness. Who is actually starving? Lindsay and Jean are getting there. And these are already offline again. We just hit him with ice. Oh, boy. Yeah, because these areas are still going to be picking up dirt from here. Because they're further away from this, I suppose. Oi, 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 oi. Oh, man. This is incredibly rough. Yeah, we might actually have to scrap all the progress we did today and then just restart, but not make the mistake that we did. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I think I'm going to call things here, though. Oh, man. Because the plan was that we didn't have any of these food problems. We got our plastic online, we got the steam turbine online, and then we started working on power, and we just continued expanding out our ranches. And then as these areas went over 30 degrees, our ranches would have expanded fast enough to cover the difference, right? And we could just slowly let all of our farms go offline, start replacing them with other things. And instead, we didn't, because they shut off faster than expected because of that problem, it delayed all of this stuff in terms of setting up our steam turbine. We still we have the materials to set it up. We just haven't set it up because the food is a little bit more pressing of an issue now. Man, is this vacuum? Wow. I guess this little slickster ate all the CO2 in this area. That's interesting. But, man, what are we going to do? I don't want to revert to old save. I mean, we can start making mush bars as well, but again, because our water supplies are offline, we don't really have a good way to replenish. Right? Like, we could start making mush bars, but this is all the water that we have, which means our oxygen is going to shut off soon. We're not going to have water to run our electrolyzers. So just being set back, just these few cycles on getting this system up and going and then starting to work on metal refining means that we're probably also going to be hitting a gap where we don't have water, we don't have oxygen, we don't have the polluted dirt to do everything. We haven't been able to direct our cooling to these arbor trees. We've been directing it to our farms, which means we've been drawing down our ethanol reserves, which means the cooling system that we're going to install, which is going to require more power, isn't going to have the power to run it because we haven't, right? Like, just being delayed by a few cycles almost kills us, right? Like, oh. And it's all because we ran out of dirt in these areas. And so they started fetching dirt from hotter areas. There's still cool dirt to use, right? Like, we still have cooler dirt that wouldn't have caused a problem, but like 60-degree dirt is just a little bit too much. I don't know. It's just the cascade of problems. We tripping up one step means that everything fails. This is way too many farms offline, though. Like, we don't have anywhere near the amount of food that we need coming in. Because if we go to colony summary, right, I have 586 farm tiles. We need 510 of them to be running to keep our duplicates up and going. Like, this is more than 76 farm tiles offline at this point. This is a width of 40. Yeah, we're nowhere close. Oh. I should have realized a lot sooner also that it was the dirt that was causing the issue, because we had all this area, like this is literal vacuum. We know we're not getting heat transfer through, we're not getting enough heat transfer through this igneous rock stuff. We were trying to do the wrong thing before, right? We were digging up this stuff that would to create a better thermal barrier for this, but that wasn't the reason why these areas were heating up. The reason they were heating up was the hot dirt, right? It was hot dirt being delivered to these areas that was heating them up. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think we have to revert to where we were at the start of the stream. I hate doing that, but I think this actually kills us. I think this actually kills us because I think we can solve the food problem. It'll be tedious, but we can solve it. The issue is we're now too many steps back to solve the water problem that was coming down the pipe, right? We're already drawing down our water reserves, and we've made no progress in harnessing this saltwater geyser, because before we even do that, we need to have our metal refining up and going, which is going to require a lot of stuff. It requires, in particular, a solution to the power issue, which is pretty major, right? A lot of it relies on getting these hatch ranches up and going. Like if we cannibalize any of these hatch ranches, we're probably just done, because we won't be ramping up our numbers fast enough to be ready for the next time our farms encounter an issue, and we won't have the coal generation to keep our power systems going. Yeah, I don't know. I think the solution is that we go around our base right at the start. We basically reload. We go around our base right at the start, and we start digging up a bunch of cool dirt. And we probably just block off this area because it's not worth it. Right? Like, I don't want any of this dirt coming into our base. That's just not going to be effective. If we do that right at the start, I think we suffer a lot less problems. We can even kind of delay a little bit our plastics operation, depending upon how major the food issues are. I think is part of the solution. I really don't want to have to spend all the labor as well to get the cooling line going down here, right? Like, because ultimately the idea was that we're just going to slowly let a lot of these farms turn off over time. That was the plan, to slowly let a lot of these farms turn off and replace it with ranching, and start using this for different things, right? And just kind of maintain the coolness in the core areas of our base and not have to build this gigantic system, which is pretty much a real pain. But I don't think we have a great way around it if we let we're just not fast enough on getting the ranching up and going. I don't know, boys. This might not make it into the canonical stream of events, but I'll have to think about it and see where we're at. I think that's it for me today, though. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is a real challenge, I have to say. This is the most challenge I've had since basically when I first picked up Oxygen Not Included. Because when you first pick up the game, everything's new and it's all hard. But this is the first major challenge I've had in a while, and I guess this just goes to show how hard it is, because, man, we're literally just... If the game kicks us down for 3 cycles because we overlook something or we misunderstand something, we're actually dead in this scenario. I don't think we recover from here, just because we won't have enough time to deal with the future problems coming down the pipe. Okay, yeah, I think I'm set for today. I'm calling it here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time.